In today's story, we learn that the only thing more powerful than a giant killer robot is a teenage anime girl with no self-confidence. I'm sure there's other examples that could be found, but none of those involve card games, so you know I just don't care.
Funny.
Domo arigato, all my fellow feature outlaws. This is Card Games vs. Humanity, and I am the NKK Double G. Here with a recap of that show that just can't help but fill me with endless amounts of rage because this duel should have never went past turn 3, Yu-Gi-Oh! If you enjoyed, don't forget that sub, that bell, that like, become a member of the channel or the Patreon if you want to support me. Leave a comment telling me which fact pisses you off more. The fact that Tristan's cards were still on the field with absolutely no explanation. Or the fact that Serenity and Duke won this duel after only about 2 attacks. Nah, I'm joking. I love this duel. Love this duel almost as much as the main characters who are seen running through this cave, hearing Serenity scream in the distance with no explored reason. Tristan's been dumped into the radioactive waste, and Serenity says it's all her fault for being such a crappy duelist. I mean, that part's true, but he kind of made every attempt to self-destruct in the least effective way possible. Nesbit says, shut up and duel, we need all of your bodies, and Tristan's kind of smells funny, so we're not sure about his yet.
Thanks to me, Tristan is who knows where.
Exactly. No one knows where, especially the writers. Duke yells at Serenity like a pip always should, saying that if they work together, they can defeat this robo-bitch and save Tristan. Unfortunately, though, she's still in emo mode from losing her pseudo-boyfriend and skips her turn, even though legally I'm pretty sure she still has to draw a card at least. Oh my god, it's Duke's turn, and he finally decides to start doing things. Activating 2 fake cards that became real later down the line, so this time I'll let it slide. The field spell Dungeon Dice, turning the battle step into a more complex-looking situation than it actually is. Dice rolls to determine the amount of attack points that monsters will have as they engage in battle. Monsters like Orgoth the Relentless, who finally makes his real debut, not that silly dice game one, a real one. Stepping onto the dice board and rolling a 6 for a massive double attack boost of 2,500.
Are you making these regulations up as you go?
Why, yes. Yes, he is. I mean, technically, that's actually how the card works, so he's not actually cheating, but this is 2003, so we'll call that 50%. Duke does 2,900 fucking damage in one attack, almost winning the duel outright, even though they never showed it, because God forbid we give the audience any sort of progression. That would just be silly.
Excellent.
Okay, that is without a doubt the worst card art I've ever seen since Yugi used a JPEG of the fucking moon. Can we at least attempt to get our artist to be not just graduated out of preschool? Nesbit calls himself to the field because he's got a secret. He's got a secret. Using a recycling plant to bring back the Machine King from his graveyard and then fuse it together with himself to create the perfect Machine King. Card that definitely wouldn't be a Cyber Dragon's deck wet dream or anything. Now more powerful than ever, he gains 500 attack for every machine monster on the field, bringing him all the way up to 5,200. His heart is humid, his blood is boiling, his braid IBM, he is now the perfect fighting machine. Rolling the dice for his damage step dungeon dice game, he gets a 5. That must be good, right?
Yes, a 5. That must be good.
Don't interrupt me.
What? There's no logic to this dice game at all.
Yeah, and that's why no one fucking plays it. Unfortunately for the master of dice, Duke, he only rolls a 1, bringing Orgoth down by 1,000 attack, leaving him wide open for a massive 2,350 direct damage when it's destroyed by the perfect Machine King. Also, I'm not really sure why this is the only duel where when you attack the monster, you still have leftover missiles to go and hit the player. Like, how would you even emulate the pain of disintegrating? Now, with Orgoth leaving the field, the dungeon dice map goes along with it. And with Serenity unwilling to reboot her processor, she is useless in this duel, while Tristan's cards still remain on the field with no real reason. Like, his life points went to 0. I don't understand why his shit isn't just gone. But never mind that, because just then we get a brief sneak peek of a conversation between Noah and Elon Musk.
You know you're not a real robot. Actually, it's quite sad. Deep down, you're nothing but a scared little man.
Nesbit made the mistake of just thinking about Seto Kaiba in his head, so of course we have to actually go to where they are right now. Luckily for him, they're conveniently still in the desert, thinking about the time that he got rid of that disgusting defective human.
We make games now, not vehicles for battle.
Yes, that's right, Nesbit. We make games now. It doesn't matter if we had multiple governments with contracts still in place. It doesn't really matter if they would probably go to great lengths to make sure that we were shut down entirely because we did that. Just gonna build them all some sweet-ass virtual holograms so they get addicted to online gaming and forget about it instead. Back to the duel, no one's even paying attention to Nesbit's monologue because they're too busy trying to get Serenity to stand the hell up and play a card, telling her that Duke and Tristan need her just like Joey needs her in all of his duels.
No one needs me. Oh, wait.
Hello there, my name is Bipolar Disease. Nice to meet you. Thanks to a flashback of Joey and Odeon, something I promise we've never seen before, Serenity starts to get some confidence back as we've seen our main character heroes running through the cave that still hasn't been explained. I mean, of course, this cave is just gonna lead to a giant mechanized room with a huge boss battle inside. I mean, if I wanted that, I could just probably play Metroid Prime. Everyone is so happy to see them, but wait, guys, where's Tristan? Wasn't he here with you? Oh, but unfortunately, he's not here anymore because he spent the entire duel not attacking and cheating in a way that pretty much only helped the enemy. So we kind of got what he deserved. Serenity finally stands up after only, I don't know, 15 minutes and draws a card. Unfortunately, it's magical reflector, so that doesn't really help right now.
You already know everything you need to in order to beat this guy.
She learned nothing. She's done nothing. Anyways, that doesn't matter now because we're thrown into this flashback during this very important episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monster. At least this time it's one we technically never saw before, so I guess again I'll let it slide. Mainly because it definitely never happened and it's just a 2-minute section of the show that tries to explain tribute and fusion summoning. Two concepts that may have been helpful to explain to the audience about 90 episodes ago. Not to mention tribute summoning would have come out maybe a few days beforehand this flashback happened because Kaiba just made Battle City and I guarantee Tristan was not paying attention.
Maybe this game isn't so tough after all.
Oh yes, I just learned one of the most basic concepts of this game. Maybe it's not so tough after all. Maybe there literally isn't thousands of rulings and interactions that I'd have to learn to be a master of this game. Oh, you sweet summer child. Trinity summons Marie, the Fallen One. Oh, excuse me, Dark Lord Marie. What was the point of even changing it? I refuse to accept that. She looks for polymerization in her hand because, you know, that wasn't something she probably should have done beforehand.
As your deck master, I can't.
Oh god, that voice is like Microsoft Sam and the Green Goblin had a child together. Actually, because Deckmasters take 10 fucking turns to finally explain what they do. Well, except for Flame Swordsman, that sexy bastard. The goddess of the third eye finally decides to help her Deckmaster with the exact kind of power that she needed. A polymerization at the cost of a discard of a magic card. Finding the forgiving maiden Marie into St. John. Arguably one of my favorite simple fusion monsters from back in the day and just generally an overall badass card. Luckily, its 2800 attack is boosted up to 3200 thanks to Tristan's illegal Command Angel card that's still on the field. And man, it's sure a good thing that Yugi both fucking knows that that back row card is Tristan's last card play as well as the exact thing they need to help them in this situation. Watch it be solemn judgment. We must use that card, says Duke. It all comes down to that card, says Duke. Let me use my awesome Deckmaster ability right now. Can you guess what it does?
Card.
Okay. 1. Did you have to do 10 freaking simples that long to activate a simple effect like that? 2. Did he really have to discard 2 cards just to use that? And 3. What the hell is the actual ability of the Deckmaster? Does it let you steal your opponent's trap card? Does it only use your friend's card? I'm just so many questions surrounding what looks like the worst ability I've ever seen. It all pays off though because look at the card that Tristan played. Rare Metal Soul. That's a card we've all seen before. It 100% exists. Raises St. Joe's attack points all the way up to 4200, matching the perfect Machine King. Before getting the most epic battle sequence that we've seen in a long time. Like those angel wings and that double KO is kind of the only thing I like about this duel. The episode ends with the awakening of a great evil. Well, that's it for this week's episode. I want to thank you all for watching and of course a shout out to all my channel members and patrons. Gonna have a sweet ass live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST. Rise of Destiny, first edition, Euro, special edition boxes, 30 packs at least. We're gonna pull some multis. I'm pulling the creator. It's mine. Or someone else. This has been the man from Earth with all the girth. I'm so glad this duel is over. The next one is actually one of my favorites. Because God forbid we give the sense. Because God. Trinity finally gets up her. Jesus. It's Duke's turn and he finally just. It's finally Duke's turn and he finally is just. Finally!